The signal came from a small blue planet in a distant arm of the galaxy. Ambassador studied the radio waves with great interest. His crystalline fingers moved carefully over the controls of his observation station. For 300 cycles, the Galactic Union had searched for new, intelligent life. Now, finally, they had found it. "The patterns are clear," said to his team. "They call themselves humans. They come from a planet named Earth." The other ambassadors gathered around the display. They saw images of cities, heard music, and watched recorded messages. The humans looked strange but not threatening. They had 2 arms, 2 legs, and faces that showed emotions. They seemed perfect for joining the Galactic Union. "We should invite them," said one ambassador. "They appear peaceful and curious." "I agree," he said. "Prepare the diplomatic vessel. We will visit their world and offer them friendship." The journey took several weeks. The Galactic Union ship traveled through the stars until Earth appeared in their viewing screens. It was a beautiful planet with white clouds and blue oceans. But as they came closer, the ship's computers began sending warnings. "Alert, alert, gravity levels dangerous," the computer announced. Checked the readings 3 times. He could not believe what he saw. Earth's gravity was twice what the Union considered normal. His people came from a gentle world where everything felt light and easy. This planet would crush them. "The oxygen levels are also extreme," another diplomat said with worry in his voice. "It will burn our lungs." "And the temperature variations," a third added. "Their planet swings between freezing and boiling." Felt fear growing in his chest. What kind of creatures could survive on such a violent world? But they had come too far to turn back now. The humans were already responding to their communication requests. "Put on full environmental suits," ordered. "Maximum protection." The shuttle descended through Earth's atmosphere. Every meter down, the gravity pulled harder on their bodies. Felt like a giant was sitting on his chest. His suit worked hard to keep him alive, filtering the dangerous oxygen and supporting his body against the crushing weight. They landed at a specially prepared meeting area. Humans waited for them outside, watched through the shuttle window. The humans stood easily in the terrible gravity. They breathed the toxic air without any protection. They smiled and waved as if everything was normal. "How are they alive?" whispered one of the diplomats. A door opened, and a human woman entered their shuttle. She moved with grace despite the heavy gravity. She wore a simple uniform with a name badge that read Commander. "Welcome to Earth," said warmly. "We are honored to meet you." Tried to stand, but his legs shook. Even with his suit helping him, the gravity was too much. The smile faded when she saw his struggle. "Oh no, I'm so sorry," she said quickly. "We didn't realize. Please stay seated. We built a special room for you with lower gravity." She helped them move to the meeting chamber. It took 20 minutes to go just 100 meters. The humans had constructed a room where artificial gravity made everything lighter. Finally felt like he could breathe. "Is this better?" asked. "Much better, thank you," said. "Your planet is very strong." Looked confused. "Strong, what do you mean?" "The gravity, the oxygen, the temperature. How do you survive?" Now looked even more confused. "This is just normal for us. Is your world different?" For the next hour they compared their planets. The Galactic Union worlds were all similar. Gentle gravity, mild climates, and peaceful environments. Earth was nothing like them. The ambassadors learned that humans dealt with earthquakes, volcanoes, hurricanes, and tsunamis. Their planet had gone through ice ages and meteor impacts. Species went extinct regularly. "Your world has tried to kill you many times," said with shock. "How are you still here?" "We adapt," said simply. "When things get hard, we find new ways to survive." A young human man joined them. His badge identified him as an engineer. He brought drinks for everyone. The ambassadors stared at the cups of clear liquid. "What is this?" asked carefully. "Just water," said. "It's safe, I promise." "Water?" His voice went high with panic. "Pure monoxide, that is an industrial solvent." Laughed, not understanding the danger. "We drink it every day. Our bodies are mostly made of water." 2 ambassadors fainted and rushed to help them, but their quick movements scared the other aliens. To them, the humans moved like predators, fast and powerful. "Please, we mean no harm," said softly. "Let us help you." After the ambassadors recovered, they asked more careful questions. They learned that humans could heal from broken bones. They could survive cuts and bruises that would kill most Union species. They had something called an immune system that fought invisible enemies inside their bodies every day. "You fight wars inside yourselves?" asked. "Every moment." "Our bodies do it automatically," explained. "We don't even notice." "Remarkable," whispered, but fear mixed with his wonder. The meeting continued for hours. The ambassadors learned about human history. They heard about wars and peace, about nations and cultures, about art and science. The humans seemed friendly and intelligent, but they also seemed impossibly strong. As the day ended, mentioned something casually. Last week, I fell off a ladder at the orbital station. Broke my arm, but it's healing fine now. You fell, asked, from how high? About 3 meters, said. Hurt a lot, but I was back to work the next day. Did quick calculations in his head. A fall from 3 meters in Earth's gravity would generate enough force to shatter his entire skeletal structure. It would kill him instantly. But this human just broke one arm and called it a minor injury. The room started spinning, felt his consciousness fading. The last thing he heard was calling for medical help and apologizing for upsetting him. And woke up in the shuttle's medical bay, his team surrounded him. They all looked terrified. We made a terrible mistake, one of them said. Earth is not a normal planet, it's a class 12, and humans are not a normal species, they are. Looked out the window at Earth. The beautiful blue planet now seemed like a nightmare. Every human down there was a survivor of countless battles against their own world. They were strong, resilient, and tough in ways the Galactic Union had never imagined. What have we invited into the galaxy? Wondered aloud. But deep in his heart, beneath the fear, another thought grew. If humans could survive Earth, what else could they survive? What could they teach the Union? And more importantly, what would happen if someone ever made enemies of these? The questions kept awake for many nights to come. 6 months passed since first contact. The Galactic Union built a research station in orbit around Earth. They wanted to study humans before granting them full membership in the Union. Teams of alien scientists arrived weekly, and each team left more shocked than the last. Doctor led the xenobiology team. He was a respected scientist who had studied 40 different species. He thought he understood life in all its forms. Earth was about to teach him how wrong he was. His first guide was a human named. The young man worked as a marine biologist, studying Earth's oceans. He greeted Doctor with a warm smile and an excited voice. I'm so happy to show you our oceans, said. They cover most of our planet. They're beautiful. Doctor looked at the data on his tablet. These oceans are filled with salt. Salt water would corrode our bodies. How do you survive contact with it? We don't drink it, laughed, but we swim in it all the time. Come on, I'll show you. They took a shuttle to the coast. Doctor stayed inside his protective suit as they walked on the beach. Waves crashed against the shore with terrifying force. Each wave carried enough energy to crush him, but human children played in the water, laughing as the waves knocked them down. They're so small, Doctor said with horror. The water will kill them. They're just having fun, said calmly. We teach children to swim when they're very young. It's safe. Safe? Doctor watched a wave knock over a small human child. The child went underwater for several seconds. Doctor reached for his emergency communicator, ready to call for rescue. But the child emerged, coughed twice, and went back to playing. That child nearly drowned, Doctor said. Nah, she's fine, said. Kids are tougher than they look. Watch this. Waded into the water himself. He dove under a wave and disappeared. Doctor counted the seconds. 10, 20, 30. Finally, after 45 seconds, his head popped up far from shore. Humans can hold their breath, Doctor asked. For how long? Trained divers can last 8 or 9 minutes, said casually. I'm not that good. I can only do about 2 minutes. Only 2 minutes. Doctor could hold his breath for maybe 20 seconds before his body started shutting down. He wrote furious notes on his tablet. Everything about humans seemed impossible. Took him on a boat to deeper waters. The ocean stretched in all directions, endless and dark. Doctor felt fear crawl up his spine. So much water, so much danger. Predators lived in these depths. His research showed creatures with teeth like knives and bodies built for killing. Does nothing frighten you? Doctor asked. You sail on top of this death trap like it's nothing. The ocean is dangerous, admitted. But it's also wonderful. It feeds us. It regulates our climate. We need it. And the predators? We respect them and stay careful. Most of the time, they leave us alone. Most of the time, Doctor realized that humans accepted danger as a normal part of life. They didn't hide from it. They lived alongside it. Later that week, Doctor visited a human hospital. His guide was a doctor who worked in the emergency room. She was a small woman with quick hands and tired eyes. Thank you for hosting us, Doctor said. We want to understand human medicine. Happy to help, said. We can start with the basics. The basics turned out to be anything but basic. Showed him the emergency room where humans came with injuries. Doctor saw things that would cause instant death in his species, but humans treated them as routine. A patient arrived with a broken leg. The bone had pierced through the skin. Doctor felt sick looking at it, but worked calmly, giving medicine for pain and preparing the operating room. "You will repair this?" Doctor asked. "How?" "We'll put the bone back together with metal pins and plates," explained. "Then the body will heal itself over a few months." "The body heals itself?" "Of course. Broken bones fuse back together, cuts seal up. We just help the process along." Doctor took notes with shaking hands. His species could not regenerate damaged tissue. An injury like this would mean death or permanent disability, but humans just fixed it and moved on. Showed him the surgical wing. She explained how human doctors cut open bodies intentionally to repair internal damage. They removed diseased organs. They implanted artificial parts. They even transplanted organs from one human to another. "You cut into living bodies?" Doctor asked. "On purpose?" "Surgery saves lives," said. "It's been practiced for thousands of years." Thousands of years of cutting into each other. Doctor felt faint. His protective suit worked harder to keep his vital signs stable. But the worst revelation came when discussed the immune system. She explained how human bodies hosted trillions of microscopic organisms. Some were helpful, others were enemies. The body fought these enemies constantly in an invisible war. "War?" Doctor asked. "Inside your body?" "Every second of every day," said. "Our white blood cells attack invaders. Sometimes the invaders win and we get sick. Usually we win and don't even notice the battle." "What happens when you lose?" "Sometimes we die," said simply. "But we've developed medicine to help. Antibiotics, vaccines, antivirals. We're getting better at helping our bodies win." Doctor learned about viruses that could rewrite DNA. He learned about bacteria that could eat flesh. He learned about cancer where the body attacked itself. And humans survived all of this. Not just survived, but thrived. "Your world is trying to kill you from the inside and the outside," Doctor said with amazement. "How do you live with such stress?" Thought about the question. We don't really think about it, it's just life. We adapt, we overcome, we keep going. That phrase, "we keep going," seemed to define humanity. No matter what Earth threw at them, they kept going. The next day, Doctor observed a school playground. He wanted to understand young humans. What he saw terrified him. Children ran at full speed, crashing into each other. They climbed structures that were 3 times their height. They fell, cried briefly, then got up and played again. One child fell from a climbing frame. Doctor calculated the impact force. The fall should have shattered bones and caused severe internal bleeding. The child hit the ground hard, lay still for a moment, then stood up. He had scraped his knee. Blood ran down his leg. He limped to a teacher who cleaned the wound and put a bandage on it. 5 minutes later, the child was playing again. "That fall would have killed me," Doctor whispered to his assistant. "Everything here could kill us," the assistant replied, "but they're just children playing." Doctor spent weeks compiling his research. He learned about human history. Earth had suffered 5 major extinction events. Ice ages covered the planet in frozen death. Volcanic eruptions blocked out the sun. Meteors crashed into the surface. Through it all, life survived. And eventually, humans emerged. Humans had no thick armor. They had no venom or claws. They were not the biggest or the strongest animals on their planet, but they had something else. They had endurance. They had intelligence. They had cooperation. And most importantly, they refused to give up. His report to the Galactic Union Council was clear. Humans came from a class 12. They possessed physical and mental capabilities far beyond normal species, but they were also kind, curious, and peaceful. They wanted to join the Union as friends. The council debated for days. Some members felt fear, had never been encountered before. What if humans became violent? What if their strength threatened others? But the debate was interrupted by an emergency signal. A Union cargo ship had crashed on a hostile moon called 9. The environment was deadly. Toxic atmosphere, extreme temperatures, dangerous wildlife. All rescue attempts had failed. The crew was dying. Ambassadors stood before the council. "I propose we ask the humans for help. They are our only hope." The council chamber fell silent. They all knew what this meant. They would see what could really do. Commander received the request within the hour. She stood on the bridge of Earth's diplomatic vessel and looked at the data. 9 was dangerous, but compared to Earth, it looked almost manageable. "Tell the council we accept," said. "We'll bring their people home." Doctor watched as human rescue teams prepared for launch. They wore armored suits and carried equipment that looked like military gear. They moved with confidence and purpose. These were not scientists or diplomats. These were humans ready to face death itself. And the galaxy was about to learn what that really meant. The rescue ship dropped out of faster-than-light travel near 9, stood in the command center, studying the moon through the viewing screen. It looked like a smaller, angrier version of Earth. Storm clouds covered most of the surface. Lightning flashed constantly. The atmosphere glowed a sickly green color. "Looks cheerful," said dryly. He was a special forces operator with 10 years of experience. He had trained in deserts, jungles, mountains, and underwater. This was just another mission. Status report. Checked her medical scanners. She was the team's combat medic and exobiologist. Her job was to keep everyone alive, human and alien alike. The stranded crew is alive but failing. Their environmental suits are running low on power. We have maybe 12 hours. "Plenty of time," said Minu from the back of the room. He was a big man who handled demolitions and heavy equipment. He grinned despite the danger. What could go wrong? "Don't say that," muttered. "You always jinx us." The ship entered Nine's atmosphere. Turbulence shook the vessel, but the pilot held it steady. They landed 3 kilometers from the crash site. The distance didn't seem far until they stepped outside. Was the first out of the ship. His armor was designed to handle Earth's harshest environments. It handled Nine easily. The toxic atmosphere couldn't penetrate his suit. The crushing gravity felt normal. The extreme temperature made his cooling system work a little harder, but nothing serious. "Team sound off," ordered. "Ready?" "Mean you ready?" "All systems green," added their technical specialist. They moved toward the crash site. The terrain was rough. Sharp rocks covered the ground. Acid pools bubbled between stone formations. The sky flashed with lightning every few seconds. Doctor and other Union observers watched through remote cameras. They could not believe what they were seeing. The humans walked through conditions that had destroyed 2 Union rescue drones. They climbed over obstacles that Union species would need special equipment to pass. When they reached a steep cliff face, didn't even pause. He pulled out climbing gear and started ascending. "The cliff is 40 meters high," Doctor said to his team. "They cannot possibly climb it." But reached the top in 15 minutes. Followed then Minu despite carrying extra equipment. They made it look easy. The path ahead led through a dense forest. The trees were twisted and dark. Their leaves dripped with acid. Strange sounds echoed between the trunks. The Union drones had identified several predator species in this area. One had destroyed both drones with ease. "Stay alert," said. "We're not alone." They moved carefully through the forest. Scanner picked up life signs all around them. Small creatures scattered as the humans passed. Larger things watched from the shadows. Then they heard it, a deep growl that made the ground vibrate. Something massive moved through the trees ahead. The team stopped and raised their weapons. The creature emerged into view. It stood 4 meters tall with 6 legs and armored plates covering its body. Its mouth held rows of teeth designed for tearing metal. This was Nine's apex predator. It had killed the drones. Now it saw new prey. "Hold your ground," ordered calmly. The creature charged. It moved fast for something so large. Doctor watched in horror, certain he was about to witness deaths. But Minu stepped forward and threw something small. It exploded with a flash of blinding light and a sound like thunder. The creature stopped, confused and disoriented. Minu threw another device that exploded with smoke. The creature roared in frustration and retreated back into the forest. "And smoke grenades," Minu explained over the radio. "Works on Earth predators. Figured it might work here too." "You didn't kill it?" Doctor asked. "Didn't need to," replied. "We're here to rescue people, not hunt animals. The creature was just protecting its territory." The respect in his voice surprised Doctor. These humans were warriors, but they were not cruel. They used only necessary force. The team continued forward. They crossed rivers of acid by building temporary bridges. They navigated through areas with poisonous gas by trusting their suit filters. They endured temperatures that swung from freezing to boiling within hours. Nothing stopped them. They reached the crash site as the sun was setting. The cargo ship lay broken across the ground. Its hull was cracked open. Emergency lights flickered weakly inside. "I'm picking up 5 life signs," said. "All weak but stable." Opened a communication channel. "This is Earth Rescue Team. Can you hear us?" A weak voice responded. Yes, we hear you. Please, we're dying." "Not today you're not," said firmly. "We're coming in." They entered the wreck carefully. Inside they found 5 alien survivors. All were in bad shape. Their suits were damaged. Their bodies were failing in Nine's harsh environment. They looked at the humans with desperate hope. Immediately started treatment. She checked vital signs and administered medicine. The aliens' biology was different from humans, but she had studied their physiology. She knew how to help. "This one has internal bleeding," said, examining a survivor named Pilot Ha. "I need to perform emergency surgery." "Here," Doctor asked through the communication link, "in these conditions." "I've done surgery in worse places," said. Her hands moved with steady confidence. She set up a portable medical station and got to work. The other team members provided light and assistance. Doctor watched in amazement as performed delicate surgery inside a crashed ship on a hostile moon. She worked for 2 hours straight. When she finished, Pilot Ha's vital signs had stabilized. Patient is stable, reported, ready for evacuation. But evacuation would not be simple. While searching the ship, Minyu found the cargo, experimental weapons that were being transported secretly. The crash had damaged their containment. They were leaking radiation and would soon explode. "We have a problem," Minyu said. "These weapons will detonate in about 6 hours. The explosion will contaminate this entire region." "Can you disable them?" asked. "Maybe it'll be dangerous." "Everything about this mission is dangerous. Do it." Minyu stayed behind to work on the weapons while and prepared to evacuate the survivors. But there was another problem. The survivors were too weak to walk. The terrain was too rough for stretchers. They would need to be carried. "I'll carry 2, said. "You take 1. Our technical specialist takes the other 2. "That's impossible," Pilot Ha said weakly. "We will be too heavy." Gently picked up Ha and another survivor. He secured them to a special harness on his back. Then he started walking. The extra weight was significant, but his powered armor helped distribute the load. More importantly, his earth-trained muscles and bones could handle stress that would cripple other species. The journey back took 12 hours, carried 2 aliens through terrain that had nearly killed them the first time. He climbed cliffs. He crossed acid rivers. He walked through the predator forest. He didn't stop. He didn't complain. He just kept moving forward. Doctor calculated the physical requirements. The weight, the distance, the gravity, the environmental stress. No Union species could survive this. Many would die trying, but did it as if it was just hard work, not an impossible feat. And the others kept pace. They supported their own survivors and helped each other. When one person stumbled, another was there to help. They worked as a team with perfect coordination. Behind them, Minyu worked alone in the crashed ship. He carefully disabled one weapon, then another. The third one was tricky. It almost detonated twice, but Minyu had trained for situations like this. He stayed calm and solved the problem. "All weapons disabled," Minyu reported just as dawn broke, heading back now. The rescue ship waited where they had landed. The human crew cheered when they saw emerge from the forest. They quickly loaded the alien survivors and provided proper medical care. Minyu arrived an hour later, tired but satisfied. "The moon is safe, no contamination." As the rescue ship lifted off, Pilot Ha spoke weakly to, "You saved us. You risked your lives for strangers." "That's what rescuers do," said simply. "But why? We are not your people." "Thought about this? Maybe not yet, but you asked for help and we answered. Where we come from, that's enough." The ship returned to the Galactic Union station. The survivors were transferred to proper medical facilities. They would all recover fully thanks to human intervention. The council convened immediately to discuss what had happened. Doctor presented his observations. "The humans completed a mission we deemed impossible. They did it without losses and without hesitation. But more importantly, they showed restraint and compassion. They are powerful, yes, but they are also good." The council members discussed this late into the night. Humanity had proven themselves capable, but they had also proven themselves trustworthy. Maybe we're not something to fear. Maybe they were something to welcome. But as the council debated, long-range sensors detected something troubling. Unknown ships had observed the rescue mission. Ships from the Dominion, an aggressive empire that had been expanding toward Union space. They had watched the humans work, and now they were planning something. The galaxy was about to become much more complicated. 8 months after the rescue mission, humanity received provisional membership in the Galactic Union. Earth celebrated. Humans would finally join the community of spacefaring civilizations, but the celebration was short-lived. The Dominion attacked without warning. 3 Union border colonies went dark within hours. They were an aggressive species who believed in conquest and domination. They had watched humanity's rescue mission and made a terrible miscalculation. They thought humans were weapons that could be controlled or defeated. The Galactic Union Council met in emergency session. High Chancellor called for calm, but panic filled the chamber. Union species were peaceful. They had not fought a real war in centuries. "We must evacuate the colonies," one ambassador suggested. "We should negotiate," said another. "Perhaps they will accept tribute." "We need to show we mean no harm," a third added. Commander sat in the human delegation section. She listened with growing frustration. The Union was talking about surrendering before they even tried to fight. Admiral sat beside her. He was a veteran of Earth's naval forces, now commanding humanity's newly formed Galactic Defense Fleet. He was a quiet man who thought carefully before speaking, but when he did speak, people listened. With respect, said, standing up. Evacuation means abandoning millions of civilians. Negotiation with an aggressor shows weakness, and doing nothing guarantees more attacks. What do you suggest? Chancellor asked. We defend the colonies. We show that Union space is protected. We make attacking us too costly for them to continue. The chamber erupted in shocked voices. Violence, direct military confrontation, these concepts were almost alien to the Union. You speak of war, an ambassador said with horror. I speak of defense, corrected. There's a difference. For hours they debated. Some Union members feared what humans might become if given military authority. Others feared the more. Finally, Chancellor made a decision. Humanity may send a defensive force to protect Thresh Prime, our largest border colony, but you must limit casualties. You must seek peaceful resolution when possible. Is this acceptable? Yes, Chancellor said, but privately he knew peaceful resolution was unlikely. They had already shown their intentions. While the council debated, a young intelligence officer named worked in the shadows. She was clever and brave, trained in espionage and information gathering. Earth had sent her to learn about the infiltrated a forward base by disguising herself as a maintenance worker. There were large, armored beings who relied on strength and intimidation. They never expected someone to sneak past their security. Inside their command center, accessed their communication networks. What she found made her blood run cold. The plan to capture humans alive. They wanted to study biology. They believed they could create super soldiers by combining strength with human endurance. Downloaded the data and escaped. She sent the information to Admiral immediately. They see us as weapons to be harvested, reported. We can't negotiate with them. They won't stop until they have what they want. Read the report and made his decision. Then we make sure they never get it. Prepare the fleet for combat. Earth's Galactic Defense Fleet consisted of 20 ships. They were small compared to the armada of over 100 vessels, but they were designed by humans who understood war. Every ship had redundant systems, heavy armor and weapons that could fight at close range. The fleet arrived at Thresh Prime just as they attacked. Warlord commanded the forces. He was a veteran of dozens of conquests. He had never lost a battle. He looked at the human ships with contempt. 20 ships, laughed. They insult us with such a small force. Destroy them quickly. But the battle did not go as expected. The human ships moved in ways he had never seen. They didn't form traditional battle lines. Instead, they scattered and attacked from multiple angles. They used the planet's gravity to slingshot around, gaining speed and changing direction unpredictably. Ships were powerful but slow. They relied on heavy frontal armor and devastating forward weapons. The humans avoided the front. They attacked from the sides and rear, hitting weak points with precision strikes. They fight like cowards, snarled, running and hiding instead of facing us directly. But this was not cowardice. This was tactics. Admiral commanded from his flagship, the Indomitable. He knew his ships were outnumbered. Direct confrontation would be suicide. So he used speed, surprise, and knowledge of the battlefield. All ships execute pattern Delta, ordered calmly. The human ships dove toward Thresh Prime's surface, skimming so close to the atmosphere that they thought they would crash. But at the last second, they pulled up and fired missiles. The missiles used the planet's gravity to accelerate, hitting ships with devastating force. 3 vessels were destroyed in one attack, roared in fury. Close with them, board their ships. This was exactly what expected. Tactics were predictable. They relied on boarding actions where their physical strength gave them advantage, but humans had prepared for this. When soldiers breached human ships, they found themselves in a nightmare. The humans had trained for close-quarters combat. They used the ship's corridors and tight spaces to their advantage. Soldiers were large and powerful, but in narrow hallways, size was a disadvantage. Human Marines fought with coordination and speed. They used to disorient the enemy. They sealed off sections to trap invaders. They vented atmosphere in certain areas, forcing them to retreat. One soldier managed to grab a human Marine named. There was twice his size and incredibly strong, but didn't panic. He used leverage and technique, breaking the script and counterattacking with precise strikes to weak points in the armor. The forces were not used to prey that fought back so effectively. They began to hesitate. Doubt crept into their minds. On the bridge of his command ship, watched his forces struggle. How were these small humans defeating his warriors? He decided to use a forbidden weapon, a biological agent that caused cascading organ failure. It was banned by galactic law but didn't care about laws. Deploy the bioweapon, he ordered. Target the human flagship. Gas canisters exploded around the Indomitable. The deadly agent spread through the ship's ventilation. Scientists had designed it to kill any carbon-based life form within minutes, waited for the human ship to go silent. But the silence never came. Admiral continued giving orders. The crew continued working. Nothing changed. Report demanded, "Why are they not dying?" His science officer checked the readings 3 times. "The bioweapon is active. It's in their air, but it's not affecting them." "How is that possible?" "I don't know. Their biology should be vulnerable." What didn't understand was that humans came from a world filled with diseases. Their immune systems had evolved to fight countless microscopic enemies. The bioweapon was deadly to most species, but to humans it was just another pathogen. Their bodies identified it, attacked it, and neutralized it. Some crew members felt sick. A few developed fevers, but they stayed at their posts and kept working, and the medical team distributed medicine to help. Within hours, everyone had recovered. "They're not even slowing down," whispered. "What are they?" The battle turned decisively. Human ships pressed their advantage. They disabled vessels without destroying them when possible. They offered surrender terms. Some commanders accepted, others retreated. Flagship tried to escape, but human fighters blocked their path. Admiral opened a communication channel. "Warlord, your attack has failed. Surrender now and we will treat you with honor according to galactic law." Stared at the screen. This human was offering mercy. After everything they had done, it made no sense. In culture, the defeated were enslaved or killed. There was no third option. Why asked, "Why offer terms?" "Because this doesn't have to end in total destruction," said. "We don't want to kill you. We just want you to stop attacking innocent people." For the first time in his life, felt something he didn't recognize. It took him a moment to identify the emotion. It was respect. These humans were not just strong. They were also wise. They understood that true strength included mercy. "I accept your terms," said quietly. The Battle of Thresh Prime ended. They had been defeated but not destroyed. Human casualties were minimal. Union civilians were safe. News of the battle spread across the galaxy within days. The Galactic Union Council convened again. This time, the tone was different. They had seen what humans could do. They had seen warfare conducted with both effectiveness and restraint. "Humanity has proven itself in battle," Chancellor said. "But I confess I am concerned. Such power could be dangerous." "Power is always dangerous," Commander replied. "What matters is how it's used. We fought to protect others, not to conquer." The council debated late into the night. Some members wanted to limit human military expansion. Others argued that humanity should lead Union defense forces. The discussions were complicated and emotional. But far away in space, another conversation was happening. Stood before the Supreme Overlord, explaining his defeat. The Overlord listened with growing alarm. "These humans," the Overlord said slowly, "they come from they cannot be beaten by conventional means. They show mercy even to enemies. What have we awakened?" Had no answer. He only knew that the galaxy had changed. Humanity had arrived and nothing would ever be the same again. 2 months passed after the Battle of Thresh Prime. The Galactic Union hoped they would accept peace. They were wrong. The Supreme Overlord refused to accept defeat. He had ruled the Dominion for 40 years and conquered 12 star systems. One loss would not stop him. "Gather the full fleet," ordered. "We will crush these humans and show the galaxy that they cannot be defeated." His advisors were worried. "Supreme One, the humans are formidable. Perhaps we should reconsider." "No," said firmly. "We have superior numbers. We have stronger ships. We will overwhelm them with pure force." Admiral received intelligence about the fleet movements from. She had continued her espionage work, gathering information deep in enemy territory. The news was not good. "They're bringing everything," reported via secure channel. "Over 300 ships. They're planning a full invasion of Union space." Studied the tactical displays. Earth's fleet had grown to 50 ships, but it was still vastly outnumbered. A direct battle would be difficult. He needed to think differently. "We won't meet them head-on," decided. "We'll use the environment against them." The fleet arrived at the border of Union space with overwhelming confidence, commanded from his massive flagship. He looked at the star system ahead and smiled. The humans had chosen to defend a system with an asteroid belt and a dying star, perfect for a decisive battle. But the humans were not there. Instead, had positioned his fleet on the far side of the asteroid belt, though would have to navigate through dangerous terrain to reach them. "They hide like cowards," said with contempt. "Forward, crush them." The fleet entered the asteroid belt. Immediately, things went wrong. The asteroids were not just rocks. Humans had placed mining equipment on many of them. As the ships passed, the mining explosives detonated. Not enough to destroy ships, but enough to damage sensors and slow them down. They turned asteroids into mines. An officer said with surprise. "Keep moving," ordered. "It's just a minor inconvenience." But it was not minor. The explosions created debris clouds that interfered with targeting systems. Ships collided with asteroids they could not see. The fleet's formation broke apart. Then the human ships attacked. They emerged from hiding places behind asteroids, fired their weapons, and disappeared again before they could respond effectively. It was hit-and-run tactics on a massive scale. They use the terrain like it's their weapon, realized. They're not just fighting, they're controlling the battlefield. While the space battle raged, led a small team on a critical mission. They had infiltrated and were targeting the planetary defense grid. If they could disable it, they would be forced to negotiate. The team moved through the capital city at night. They wore adaptive camouflage and moved in silence. The guards never saw them. They reached the central control facility and began their work. "We're not going to destroy it," explained to her team. "We're just going to shut it down temporarily, enough to make a point." They used electronic warfare techniques that they had never seen. Within an hour, the entire planetary defense system went offline. Alarms rang across the panic spread. They had never felt vulnerable before. Send a message to, "You're is defenseless. We could attack, but we won't. We're not conquerors, but we will defend the Union. Stand down." In the asteroid belt, the battle continued. They were learning that numbers did not guarantee victory. Human ships were smaller but faster. They worked together with perfect coordination. When one ship was damaged, others covered it while it retreated for repairs. Admiral commanded from the Indomitable. His tactical displays showed the entire battle. He saw patterns in the movements. He predicted their strategies. He was always 3 steps ahead. "Target their command ships," ordered. Not to destroy but to disable, cut off their leadership. Human ships focused fire on command vessels. Precision strikes disabled communication arrays and engine systems. Suddenly, the fleet lost coordination. Individual ships didn't know what to do without orders. But the most remarkable moment came from an unexpected source. The marine biologist who had shown Dr. Earth's oceans had become an advisor to the Union. He studied the food supply and discovered a crisis. They had focused so heavily on military expansion that they had neglected agriculture. Their people were slowly starving. This was why they attacked so aggressively. They needed resources. Presented this information to Admiral. "We can solve their food crisis. Earth has advanced farming techniques that would work on worlds. If we offer to help them, they might stop fighting." Considered this. Military victory was possible, but at a high cost. A diplomatic solution would save lives on both sides. He opened a communication channel too. "Supreme Overlord, we know about your food shortage. We can help. We have the technology and knowledge to increase your agricultural output by 300%. In exchange, you end your aggression against the Union. No more attacks, no more war." Was stunned. These humans had defeated his fleet, infiltrated his, and now they were offering to help feed his people. It made no sense. In culture, the strong took from the weak. They did not help enemies. "Why would you do this?" asked. "You could destroy us. Why offer aid?" "Because peace is better than war," replied simply. "Your people are hungry. Ours have plenty. Why should anyone starve when we can prevent it?" For the first time, Truly looked at the human on the screen. This was not a warrior seeking glory. This was someone who understood that real strength meant protecting life, not taking it. "How do I know you won't betray us?" asked. "You don't," admitted. "You have to trust us, just as we have to trust you'll honor the peace." Thought about his people, about the children who went to bed hungry, about the mothers and fathers who worried about the future. His pride wanted to keep fighting, but his duty was to his people. "I accept," said quietly. "The Dominion will cease hostilities against the Galactic Union." The war ended not with a final battle but with an agreement. Human agricultural experts traveled to worlds. They taught new farming techniques. They shared technology. Within months, food production increased dramatically. Hunger decreased. Led the security team that protected the agricultural experts. He walked through cities and saw children playing in streets, families eating together, peace returning. This was worth more than any military victory. The Galactic Union Council convened for a historic session. Humanity's provisional membership would be reviewed. After everything that had happened, the Council needed to decide humanity's role in the galaxy. High Chancellor spoke first. "Humanity has proven itself in peace and war. They are strong, yes, but they are also wise and compassionate. I propose we grant them full membership and create the doctrine." "What is the doctrine?" asked an ambassador. "Humanity will lead the Union's defensive forces," I explained. "But they will be bound by strict oversight. They can act to defend but not to conquer. They will be our shield, not our sword." Commander stood to respond. We appreciate the trust, but I propose an alternative. Don't just make us your defenders. Integrate us throughout Union society. Let humans work beside other species in all fields. Let us teach what we know about resilience while learning your wisdom. Don't separate us. Include us. The council debated for days. Finally, they reached a decision. They would do both. Humanity would lead defensive operations when needed, but humans would also be integrated into all aspects of Union life. Teachers, scientists, artists, diplomats. Humans would be partners, not just protectors. Doctor had followed the entire process with fascination. He had studied humans for over a year now. He had seen them at their best and faced danger beside them. On the day of the final vote, he stood to speak. When I first met humans, I was terrified, Doctor said. They came from a world that tried to kill them every day. I thought they would be brutal and violent. I was wrong. Humans are not strong because they fight. They are strong because they endure. They survive. They adapt. And most importantly, they help others survive too. They are exactly what the galaxy needs. The vote was unanimous. Humanity became full members of the Galactic Union. 5 years later, stood in a classroom on Luna Station. He taught young members of different species about Earth. Students from 12 different worlds attended his class. They asked questions about his dangerous. Are you afraid of Earth? A young alien student asked. Looked out the window. Earth rose over the lunar horizon, blue and white and beautiful. He smiled, remembering everything his world had taught him. No, I'm not afraid, said gently. Earth isn't cruel, she's a teacher. A tough teacher, yes, but everything she did made us stronger. She taught us to fall and get back up. She taught us to face impossible challenges and find solutions. She taught us that the best way to survive is to help each other. He turned back to his students. We're not because we conquered our planet. We're because our planet taught us the most important lesson in the universe. Never stop adapting. Never stop hopping. Never stop being kind. Earth made us strong, but we chose to use that strength to protect others. Outside the window, a new generation of ships launched from Earth. They were designed by humans and aliens working together. Some carried human crews. Others had mixed crews from many worlds. They headed out to explore the galaxy, to find new life, to offer help wherever it was needed. The galaxy had been afraid of humanity once. Now the galaxy was grateful. They had arrived and they had brought with them something precious. Hope, resilience, the unbreakable belief that tomorrow could be better than today. And across the stars, on thousands of worlds, that message spread. When things are darkest, when challenges seem impossible, remember the humans from Earth. Remember that they survived 4 billion years of their planet trying to kill them. Remember that they emerged not as monsters, but as friends. If they could do that, anything was possible. The story of humanity and the Galactic Union had just begun. There would be more challenges ahead, more dangers to face, but whatever came next, they would face it together, united, strong, and always moving forward. Because that was what humans did best. They kept going, they never gave up, and now they were teaching the galaxy to do the same.